Hi, I'm Ange Wilson from Gnome Angel, and this is my tutorial on how to make the patchwork block Northern Lights. If you loved this tutorial, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, click subscribe to the channel. The link to the pattern download and the supporting product information can be found in the caption below. Be sure to click the See More button to see more. Step 1. Download your pattern, collect your supplies, and cut your block pieces out. Be sure to arrange the block pieces as they are shown in the pattern. Join piece C to piece E, as shown in pink on this diagram. A quick efficiency tip: use a leader and an ender, that's a piece of fabric you saw at the beginning and end of your chain piecing, to help keep your chain piecing going between steps. I use pieces from other projects so that I can work on more than one work in progress at a time. Here you can see I've lined up the engineered corners at the top and the bottom. I feed these pieces through the machine by lining the edge of the fabric up against the 1/4 inch mark. I sew a scant 1/4 inch seam, repeating this process for all the pieces. My number one accuracy tip is to press between each step. When pressed, your pieces should look like this. Step 3. Complete your flying geese unit. Join piece C to piece CE as shown in pink on this diagram. Completing your flying geese block is as simple as the first step. Align the engineered corner at the top and the bottom, feeding your pieces through your machine by aligning the edge of the fabric with your 1/4 inch mark. Sew a scant 1/4 inch seam. To avoid catching seams, I sew from the back. As you can see, I line the corners up as previously done. I put the piece down and I sew so that my presser foot moves in the direction that the seam has been pressed to, passing over the top and not catching and flipping the seam. Press in between each step. When pressed, your pieces should look like this. Step 4 sees us start on our checkerboard corner units. Join piece F to piece B as shown on this diagram. We sew these slippery little suckers by lining up the top corner with the bottom corner, making sure the engineered corners align neatly. Place your fabric up against this 1/4 inch mark and sew a scant 1/4 inch seam. Press in between each step. When pressed, your pieces should look like this. To complete your checkerboard unit, join piece FB to piece BF as shown in this diagram. This step is all about nesting those seams. If you've pressed in alternating directions, you'll be able to butt the seams up together using your fingers to feel that they don't overlap. Push and adjust as needed. Be sure to pin away from you so that when you've aligned the seams, they don't move. Align the engineered corners at the top and the bottom, feeding the piece through the machine up against your scant 1/4 inch mark. Press in between each step. When pressed, your pieces should look like this. Step 6 sees us join the middle piece into rows. Join as per the diagram and your pattern. I chain piece these rows together. So I sew each end piece first, aligning the engineered corners at the top and the bottom, lining the piece up against my 1/4 inch mark and stitching together. Press in between each step. When pressed, your pieces should look like this. Step 7 is all about completing this middle unit. It's just like completing your checkerboard. Join the rows together. This step is all about nesting those seams, so again you want to use your fingers to feel to make sure that the seams are butting up against each other and not overlapping, making sure to pin away from you as you work. Align the top engineered corner, your piece of fabric up against your 1/4 inch mark, stitch, moving the pins out of the way of the needle as you work. As you finish your stitches, make sure that that bottom engineered corner is aligned with its counterpart. This is where I'll use a leader and ender to keep my chain piecing continuous as I work. Press in between each step. Step 8. Join to make rows as shown on the diagram. Joining to make rows is super easy with this piecing. Just line up your top engineered corner and your bottom engineered corner, pushing your fabric up against your 1/4 inch mark and stitch your seam. Repeat for each piece to join and make 3 rows. Press in between each step. When pressed, your pieces should look like this. Join the rows to complete your block. Joining the rows is super easy. You simply line up the engineered corners, nest your seams, pinning away from you as you go, and stitch a 1/4 inch seam. I start by pinning the flying geese units into place. I then move on to making sure that the checkerboard corner lines up with the flying geese on the other side. I pin this in place so it doesn't move while I stitch the seam. I move to the other side, nest the seam against the flying geese and checkerboard, pinning away from me again. Finally, I line up that engineered corner before starting the seam. Give your block its final press, making sure to stand back and admire your handiwork. For those interested, this is what the back of my block looks like. For those of you that love to see the blocks made up in different fabric combinations, here's 4 I made earlier. Enjoy! Thanks for watching. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to the channel for more great tutorials, and you'll find me at gnomangel.com.